Hey, Paradise, put up a parking lot. We're not going to let it happen down here. Welcome to the program, folks. It is 5 o'clock East Coast time. You are listening to Radio818.com, and this is The View from Paradise and from Bayside Gourmet at 82.7 on the Bayside in the Florida Keys. My name is Mark Mills. Joining me, Anthony.
Gentlemen.
How are you, sir?
Peachy. How are you?
Yeah, excellent.
You know, he's been hanging around Dewey, or not at all. It's just like, brothers from another mother, And Dewey is this gargantuan character who does most of our tech stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and when he says peachy, get out of the way.
That's fine. That was my former life. It was tech stuff, yeah.
Get out of my life. Get out of my way, please. So,
well, Dewey wouldn't find himself a mile from here because he's on his pizza. He has to have sausage, ham, all of that.
Well, it's a deep dish, Chicago.
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
oh,
Chicago
okay.
pan style. So, yeah, you guys make a pan style, don't you?
Yeah, we make like a homemade Sicilian.
It's good.
Yeah.
Way good.
Yeah.
What are the specials for tonight, sir?
I made some pasta. I made a homemade tomato and semolina capellini. Yeah. We're serving that with grilled shrimp, and it's in an Alfredo sauce with sun-dried tomatoes.
Is that good with wine?
Everybody's stomach started gurgling, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, homemade pasta. There's no comparison to homemade pasta. The bite is just completely different.
It's the best.
Once you've had it, it's hard to.
It is. Mm-hmm. Look, box pasta is
yeah, it works for
very
sure.
passable. You know what? I don't think my wife would have married me if I couldn't have made box pasta. But
it's fun to do at home.
Chop it up with some fresh tomatoes, boil it up, toss it in olive oil, lots of garlic. Keep the vampires away, that kind of thing. But it's delicious.
It's a fun project for home too. You don't need really much equipment. It's simple. Yeah.
Easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tip your cards on how to.
The pasta?
Yeah, or not. You don't have to.
It's real simple. I use half regular flour, although it's finer, but you can use any flour. And then I like to use half semolina, just because it gives a little bit of a bite, And you can get that in the grocery store. And then just eggs.
Yeah, Publix has got it.
Yeah. Eggs, a little bit of olive oil, and just knead it.
There you are.
Yeah. And if you don't have a pasta maker, you roll it out and you cut it with a knife.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Good. Anything else on the specials menu we need to worry about?
Panko chicken and bacon. in a key lime.
I just had this warm rush hit me. Like panko chicken and bacon.
Yeah, and a key lime blanc sauce. So,
God.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like kind of a cross between
tiramisu,
like a cream sauce and a franchise sauce, kind of together.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right, man. Well, there's definitely a couple of reasons to come on to 82.7 on the Bayside tonight. We're out on the patio. We're doing the radio show. You can bask in the glow of Harry and Mark, or you can just go eat a great meal and enjoy some wine in the restaurant. Anthony, I think, just about choked on his own with the basking in the glow comment. But,
I can understand that, Mark.
He was kind enough to let it pass. So, Anthony, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Right? You have a good night.
You guys have a great show.
Yeah, we'll do. Absolutely. Moving on to the program, folks, we do have a great show tonight. We're going to talk about alternative schools, or, well, maybe not even so much alternative anymore, as the process is over 100 years old. We have two folks from Montessori that we'll be talking to in just a few minutes, and maybe going to learn you up that there's a couple things about Montessori y'all don't know.
Montessori, I can't even spell it.
For a guy from Alabama, that's way too good a straight line.
I know it.
Yeah, it is. So,
I'm the guy, though.
Moving forward on that one. So, Tony Young is here from Forever Young Dive Charters. I think I got one more time.
Forever Young.
There you go. Forever Young. Thank you. How did I mess that up? It's an old Rod Stewart song, right? Yeah. All right. Tony will set us straight on that, but they've got a great project going on. And kind of a ballsy move, if you pardon the expression, but y'all got together and wrote a letter to the powers that be at NOAA, yeah? Yeah, okay. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. But you know what? Kind of like it when the folks get together and say, hey, you know what? This should be done this way because, we're all going to benefit. It's going to be better. So, and then Monica Wall, Florida Bay Outfitters, will be here. She's got a bunch of cool stuff going on. So we're going to talk to her as well. We got a great program, and it's made possible each and every week. Jim LaPointe is, you know what? If you're looking to do a home purchase down here in the Keys, 3.6% on a 30-year fixed mortgage.
15-year is under 3.
Under 3. It's just a gargantuan sum of money you can save doing that. No fees and no points. And he does do financing on mobile homes.
Yes, he does.
Which it's still. I talked to a neighbor the other day who sold a mobile home. They've had it in the family for 40 years. Paid $15,000
for the lot and the mobile home, right?
The dirt in the house. Sometimes it's hard to tell which is which now, but because it's been there for a while. Not on the water. Sold it for $329. 1 day on the market.
$329,000 for a mobile home.
Yeah, nice. Nice maturation, I guess you'd say. So good investment, worked out well. So, but Jim's contact information is on our front page of radioa1a.com.
It is.
So please log on there and get all the dope you need on Jim. First class, great guy, and makes really good Mexican food.
We also update his rates very regularly.
Every week.
Yes, we do.
Every week.
Yeah.
So also, you know what? If you're kind of a do-it-yourselfer and maybe thinking, I want to sell, but I don't want to give up 6%, you don't have to. Having been a realtor, I'm not going to poo-poo realtors, but you know what? There's those of you who, put on the brace and stand up like a man and do it yourself, and I appreciate that. The one thing that you want to do is you want to get clean title and have a well taken care of transfer of title, and that can be done at Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys, 305-451-0032, or just Google them up, Sunshine Title, Florida Keys. They will walk you through the process. They save you a bunch of money.
You just pointed out something. 6% of $329,000 is nearly $15,000.
More than that, Bubba.
What?
300?
6,000 per 100. That's you're exactly right.
Yeah, almost $20,000.
Wow, almost $20,000.
Almost $20,000.
See, I told you I went to Alabama. We use a different kind of math there.
Oh, man. That's, you got one school person here smiling, the other one just kind of grinning it,
there are 1,000 people in Alabama listening to us now going, he's right.
How'd that happen? Okay. So bucket list, if you got a bucket list at home, folks, and you're thinking, I'm getting a little long in the tooth, but I want to take that trip. We want you to hook up with David Hartman and that is Fantastic Endeavors. You can get their information also from our Radio A1A page.
Right.
As well. So last but not least, if you come down here on vacation, go home on probation. Monroe County bail bonds will, well, they're there when you need them, and we don't need to discuss all the reasons why people wind up being.
Well, there's a hotel down there on Stock Island that has a zoo under it.
Bar.
And I think you have to, as a person who stays at that hotel, you have to clean up the stable.
Or at least a person of interest, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go.
Sheriff Rick Ramsey's personal hotel.
I like Rick. Rick's a good guy.
Oh, yeah.
And Corey down here in Islamorada is awesome too.
Yeah.
They're good homies.
But Albert and Lisa will get you in a situation where you don't have to go in there.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
That's the idea. Avoid it if at all possible, definitely. And of course, the crime novel series, Jake Sullivan series, written by author Chip Bell. All of his novels are available through our webpage. Again, click on the guy under the palm tree with the gun. Speaking of Monroe County's finest, I believe that was a fire truck.
I believe it was.
Probably so. Yeah, it's good. This is proof we're outside under the beautiful blue skies, partly cloudy. It's beautiful out. Very nice.
Under the gumbo limbo tree.
Come and see us. let's get into it. Kathy Gwilliam,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's so cool for you to show up, and you brought your boss.
I did.
In all of my life, 65 years almost, I would never have brought a boss anywhere. You got some stones, lady. I'll give you that. So, you believe in what you do.
You never had a boss like me.
Well, there's
there's
there
the
you
boss.
go. So, bada bing, take that with you when you go. Montessori schools. Now, in what we have here in Tavernier, Islamorada proper, is a Montessori charter school, correct?
Correct.
Explain the difference. One of you, go ahead and then Kelly Mengel is also with us. She is the principal of the school. Kathy
I am a 4-5 educator, and I'm also on our leadership team.
kind of in charge of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in time.
I'm
big
in charge
time.
of those in charge.
God, it's good to be the queen,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
In a castle, nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
The difference between Montessori and Montessori charter.
The difference is it's free. A charter
Big-
school is free.
Big difference.
A big
Huge difference.
So it's a choice school.
Yeah.
There's many throughout Florida, and it gives an opportunity for children to go to a school that have a different way of learning.
Okay.
So the child is able to just not have a traditional setting. There's different, there's many different type of charter schools across the state of Florida, and Montessori is just one of them, and that's our charter at our school.
Now,
So charter schools are basically choice schools
yeah,
that were developed to give parents choices of where to send their children.
where to go, an
Exactly.
alternative, if you will.
So every charter school there's charter schools that are managed by companies, which you hear a lot about on the news. Tends to be most of our negative news. The for-profit charter schools managed by larger companies. In the Keys, specifically our charter school was created by a group of parents within the community that just wanted something different for their kids.
Cool.
So they set out to create a charter school with the Montessori philosophy being the curriculum choice.
Well, and this is a deep well of choices.
Yes.
And a different approach to education. I mean, when I went to high school, we got modular scheduling, and
Right.
that was a big deal. I mean, we texted each other on granite chisels, and
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We moved up a little bit.
Or you had the papers that you wanted.
it's flying airplanes, right?
Yes.
It seemed like stop paying attention. So, so in its nutshell form, in the bottom line, give me 2 or 3 screaming differences between Montessori and regular public schools.
So the largest difference is really that we follow the child.
Yeah.
Our curriculum is developed so that our students that are gifted can move at their own pace within a classroom. They're not held back as far as what they're learning.
What about
and
the
our
average
students
kid?
that are struggling are also given the needs that they have. The average child...
middle ground, though. I mean, just a regular
They do
kid.
great as well because there's a lot of movement in all of our classrooms. So we're not set to teaching. You'll hardly ever walk into a Montessori room and see a teacher at the front of the class with all of the students in rows, which is
Right.
what we grew up with.
Right.
What you'll hear is what we call the buzz within the classroom. And all of the kids are working on different things within their agenda. They're given freedom of what to work on and when to work on it. As long as they've had the lesson from the teacher. So the teacher's typically on the floor with a small group of students while
Right.
other students are working independently on something that they've already been introduced to. And that flow happens constantly throughout the day.
Okay, and now your grade range is from...
Preschool to 8th grade.
Okay, preschool to 8th grade. So reading, writing, arithmetic, it still is taught, but...
Yeah, so for example, our preschool students, we start with cursive first.
Right.
So even in
Excellent.
preschool, they're learning cursive.
That's cool.
It lends itself to reading at a faster rate. A lot of European countries do that because if you think about it, the only spacing is then in between words or sentences. So it tells them they belong together for a reason. Our preschool students are learning botany, zoology, geography, cultural history.
Well, it's like putting a computer in front of a 4-year-old and they open it up and immediately go to town on it.
We don't
You
have
know.
any computers for 1-to-1 until 4th grade.
Wow.
We have them for smaller projects,
Right.
but we believe in the hands-on Montessori materials
Right.
that were made, which are very tactile, a lot of movement. We don't have any textbooks other than math books
But that
throughout
goes
our
hand in
entire
hand with
grade
why
level.
Babies put everything in their
Exactly.
mouths, you know. So,
But if you think about it, even our middle school science program is 100% lab-based.
yeah.
So they don't have a science textbook. They do everything from learning and engagement within the lessons.
Cool
so.
is that?
Where do they see the lesson, though, if they don't have a book? Where is that? In
It's
front of them? in some-
Presented through
the-
different media sources or from the teacher.
A lot of
And then, like, for example, the middle school lesson today had 8 labs that they went to, which showed different types of refraction and reflection. Happened to be the one that I was watching today.
Interesting.
But our middle school, they've built their own 3D printer. We have a hydroponics garden.
They built their own 3D printer.
Yes, they're doing their own refugium tank where they don't need a filter. It filters itself.
I want to talk to these kids
So-
about printing me up a kidney one of these
You
days.
should have seen their science fair projects. They were amazing. One of our students is going to the state science fair.
Wow.
She built her own electric bike. Happens to be her daughter.
It's my daughter.
But
Oh,
Yeah.
little.
She-
she blushed.
Yes,
Oh, good
I
on your
know.
part. All right.
What is her
very
name,
cool.
may we ask?
My daughter's name
Yeah.
Sydney Eisenbach.
Sydney Eisenbach.
Very
and then we have
cool.
2
Yeah,
students
big
that are going to
proud.
Miami for the spelling bee
Nice.
on March 10th to compete in South Florida.
Yeah, and here's a moment for you to blow your
Mm-hmm.
own horn. But I mean, Montessori kids versus public school kids on average, learning faster, learning just differently, learning other things.
It's a trick question. So
It
the
is,
teacher in
sorry,
me is going to
but,
tell
you
you
know.
that every student develops at their own pace.
Correct.
We foster that development,
Right.
so I'd like to think that we find a way for every student to shine. It might not necessarily be in the same way, but even your struggling student's going to come to us feeling as though they've accomplished something
Right.
within the span of a year. If they stay with us from VPK through 8th grade, our
Yeah.
students do very well. Last year, valedictorian at Coral Shores was one of our graduates.
Wow.
So
So-
they
Wrong
do
with
well.
that.
They do well. I
Yeah.
just heard from 2 of my students that got into their colleges of choice this year so far, so that's exciting to hear. They keep in touch with us.
Do you get to reveal what their colleges of choice were?
I don't know that they're going to necessarily pick that one
Oh,
after
okay,
talking,
right,
so
fair,
I
right.
fell into that trap last year. So I won't
I
do that
gotta
again.
bait that hook with me, pal. Yeah,
But,
right.
it's always fun to see the rivalry, mainly UF and FSU, that big.
Which are great schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Our
Yeah.
students do great.
Very cool. In long term, because this is Montessori was developed over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that left me gap-jawed and blinking. When I read that today, I was like, where the hell have I been?
What's even more amazing is when you look at the materials. So, for example, in preschool, we have the pink tower, which to us would seem like a bunch of pink blocks that the child stacks to make
Right.
a tower. If you take the very top block, we call it Tiny Tim, that represents a cubic centimeter. You can use that in 4th and 5th grade to describe area. You can use it, there's the trinomial cube and the binomial cube that they use in VPK that you can use to explain the quadratic formula, for example, in algebra. So this woman has
Oh my
created
God.
materials 100 years ago that span preschool to
Yeah.
high school.
That they could have used to design
Yeah.
jet aircraft.
And I'm a visual learner, so the minute I could see the quadratic formula, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that makes sense! Finally." So-
Have you guys gotten the feeling over the years that the way public education, and I'm not here to bitch slap around public education because it is what it is, and I think we can always do better. I'm very proud of the public school education I had. I grew up in Minnesota. Our schools were ranked 4th in the nation at the time, why they didn't just like scrape me off the grill and throw me in the grease trap, I don't know. But, they were wonderful schools, great curriculum. And the public schools have seemed, what I'm trying to say is that the whole testing thing is what it's all about. And it doesn't seem to be as much about learning.
Well, we still have
We
to
still have
take
to
the
test.
same state test
Right.
as a charter school. We're still a
Right.
public school.
Right.
We're surrounded by a lot of A schools, so we have that going for us. Yeah. The biggest difference is really the choice and the setting.
Okay.
We don't put a lot of influence on the testing. We don't teach to the test.
Right.
Part of that comes from not having textbooks.
God bless you. All right.
We do. We have a math book, which is aligned, to help them have some experience with that.
There are some standards that you have
exactly.
to,
and I think really the biggest difference within charter schools is the autonomy that's given to the teachers within the classrooms. So a lot of I came from a traditional public school.
Most of
you were
us did.
scripted, right?
Yeah,
so you, as a teacher, you had to write what standard you were on. The principal knew what page you had to be at by a certain amount of time.
Right.
And everyone in the same county followed the curriculum.
You're always on a ticking clock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our school, our teachers are free to have any idea as long as it has a goal in mind. So they can come to me and say, hey, I really want to teach this. We're not supposed to get to it till the spring. It doesn't matter. It's autonomy. The kids are learning. They're engaged in what they're learning. That's what matters.
I have some friends whose child is, I think he will graduate Montessori. I know he's going on to college now. So he'll be going to a public high school and then to, he's, the kid is amazing. I mean, he was kind of a shy kid to start off with, and there was a lot of concern that, the public schools would eat him alive, and so his folks put him into a Montessori, and he is a swelling, itching brain mathematically,
right.
And I mean, really a brilliant kid. And, there's a possibility that in public school he may have been run over.
Yeah, well, a lot of our curriculum is focused on more than just the math and science that you were talking about. We have, a critical thinking class in middle school.
Right.
The students have developed projects called Be a Good Human, so they're all around. You might have seen them around town with their Be a Good Human shirts. We volunteer. Students starting in 3rd grade have to have community service. Once a month, we support the local soup kitchen. We're there the first Tuesday of every month.
Oh, wonderful.
That's way
we
cool.
do a lot of community projects and a lot of public speaking. We go on trips in the spring. In the past, we've worked with the United Nations program, so our students have gone to New York, and they talk about real-world issues. They're talking about human trafficking. They're talking about children soldiers in Sudan, because that's what our world is outside of where we are.
Yeah.
We're going to Yellowstone this year, and they're going to be learning about the national parks.
Amazing place.
Yeah, we just had a lesson on the reintroduction of wolves in Yellowstone. Why should that matter to us here?
Wow.
4-5 is going to Appalachia
to
kind of hike a few trails and see the different ecosystems.
Now, when you say, let me interrupt you, when you say 4-5.
4th and 5th grade.
Got it. Okay. No, I'm just going to clarify that.
Yeah, and we're going to go to Nantahala. It's the only temperate rainforest in their near
continental
vicinity,
United States, right?
The continental, So what an experience for them. The history of the Biltmore, things like that. So
may I address you just a moment, Madam Principal? Do you have a preparatory class when they graduate from the 8th grade to prepare them for the mainstream at Coral Shores High School or whichever?
That's a great question. They're actually over-prepared for the high school.
I see.
We teach so much starting in kindergarten. The fact that you don't have a teacher-led classroom, that you're following your own agenda, they're learning organization, time management, how to prioritize their learning. We foster them being in extracurricular activities, community service. So they're already building all of that and learning how to manage all of that. So there's really, when they go to high school, all they have left is learning how to interact with people, like new students.
And keep away from drugs and alcohol and all the other damn
But they're
things.
so confident.
I see.
I don't ever worry about them with that.
Is that right?
You just plowed that nail right in, man, with one hit.
I don't.
Is that, the deal is they are so confident.
They are very confident.
Because, being lacking self-confidence is probably the first thing that turns a kid of high school age towards drugs, alcohol.
The wrong group.
Wrong behavior.
From the very beginning, we teach them that no problem is unresolvable.
Beautiful.
They have a way to attack the problems, to figure it out. There's always a solution. They need to be creative with that solution. They need to be advocates for themselves, for others. We are vocal. with their needs. I mean, I just recently had a petition to extend recess time. So they have to write a draft proposal on why.
Nice.
I sit with them, we discuss options, and, once a week they have an extra 10 minutes
This is
now.
the way the real world works.
Exactly. So they go to the high school, and instead of being overwhelmed, they say, okay, what am I overwhelmed with, and how can I solve that?
That is so cool.
Awesome.
Now,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to
great.
shift this Klieg off of Kelly back
I know.
onto Kathy.
I can talk about the school.
Well, and that is so
Great
cool,
stuff.
man. You believe in what you do.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
How many of us get to do that? I mean, we're a couple of old farts that our health is in the toilet, and we do this just to keep ourselves,
But we had prayer in school
Absolutely.
in Alabama. We prayed every day thinking that the great state of Mississippi was number 50 and we were number 49 in education.
Well, there you go.
Prayer in school.
Yeah, man. As I said, we're going to move this Klieg light from Kelly over to Kathy, because a couple of your kids went to Montessori, correct?
All three of mine
All three.
are. Well, one is graduated in high school.
Okay, and you still have two sort of.
Two.
All right.
Kelly's got one still there, one at the high school.
The best part of it so far in your whole experience.
Being there with my children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being part of their education, watching them grow up is nice. Knowing that they're self-sufficient and able to self-advocate is nice too.
If people want to know how to get from public schools to Montessori, how do they do it?
Is it hard to get in, too?
There's a lottery.
There
It's
is a
in-
lottery, but we tend to have enough positions because it's a small area.
Yeah.
I always just recommend a tour. Our students give the tours at our school,
Come talk to
and
us.
just come see what we're about.
Cool.
You'll know if we're the right
website,
fit.
phone number, something like that?
TreasureVillageMontessori.com.
There you go.
The phone number is 305-852-3482.
Kelly Mengel and Kathy William, thank you.
Thank you all
guys,
very
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Yeah, it's
being
really
on
cool,
Radio
man.
A1A.
Good luck to you. all
Thank you.
And anything goes on that you want to talk about, come see us, okay?
We'll
Anytime.
do. We'll do.
Absolutely. All right,
Good luck
cool.
to the soccer team, by the way.
Oh, yes, I am
absolutely.
the soccer coach at the high school. and
Serious soccer mom.
They just
there.
won districts
Yay.
for the first time in 20
Congratulations.
years.
Are they the
and,
Lady Conks, or what are they?
that's
Lady
Key West.
Hurricanes.
We're the
Yeah.
Hurricanes.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Lady
we got
Canes,
regionals
brother,
tomorrow
Lady
night.
Canes.
All
Yes,
right.
regional 7 p.m.
Good
Home
luck.
game.
Cool.
We may
Thank you.
drop by and see you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're about 27 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. Tony Young from Forever Young Charters, I want to say that?
Charter company.
Charter Company, there you go. I keep losing this one of these days. Throw it out there and probably cripple somebody when I do it.
His rod and his staff.
Leave it alone. We will talk to Tony Young in just a couple of minutes because the dive operators in the Keys have really gotten together on a very cool project, and he's going to spill the beans on it. So,
Absolutely.
If you will, please sit tight. We'll be right back.
I'm Maynard Edwards from Baltimore, Maryland, and whenever I'm on the road to the Florida Keys or I just want to feel like I'm in the Florida Keys, I listen to Trop Rock on Radio A1A at radioa1a.com.
Monroe County Bail Bonds is a local family-owned and operated bail bonding agency in the Florida Keys, fully licensed and serving residents and visitors for over 20 years.
3-day getaway down in the Florida Keys. This time Duval Street got the best of me. I argued with the cop. He said I was speeding, and I really ran out of luck. When my girlfriend leaned over and whispered real loud, he's stubborn when he's drunk. I came here on vacation. I'm going home on probation.
That's right. There's always an agent on call 24/7 at Monroe County Bail Bonds. Call us when you need us with 2 locations. Tavernier at 305-852-3266 or Key West at 305-296-7724 or go to FloridaKeysBail.com.
Going home on probation.
You've been coming to the Keys for a while, and you rent a nice place, but the rents keep going up. You know it's time to consider buying a home in the Keys. First thing, find out how much home you can afford. Time to talk to Jim. Jim LaPointe is your new Keys local lender. Easy qualifying, lowest rates, FHA, VA, conventional. Time to talk to Jim. Log on to radioa18.com. Click on interest rates. Rates change often, so check them daily. Time to talk to Jim.
Fantastic Endeavors is a full-service travel agency based in Key Largo, Florida, specializing in custom individual and group travel. Our luxury travel advisors inspire people to answer 2 questions. What is your bucket list trip, and where do you wish you were right now? Fantastic Endeavors will personally tailor your journey to your needs. We build extraordinary, enriching experiences curated just for you. Call us today at 305-453-9208 or email dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Enjoy the journey.
This is Radio A1A, music for the road to paradise.
We are back in the program, and this is The View from Paradise.
They paved paradise and put up a fucking lie.
Song. You know, very kind of you to actually dig it up and play it for us on a regular basis. Joining me now is Tony Young, Forever Young
Charter Company.
There you go.
There we go.
I mean, how many times did I wrote it down twice? Still.
Hey, third time's a charm.
Well, you know, little brain damage here, you know, but it'll all go away.
That's
eventually.
what I'm here for, to fill in the blanks.
Very good. So, help me out with this, because I read just snippets of this from Chip Wiesenkoff, who hooked us up. But 50 dive operators in the Keys got together and wrote this letter to NOAA.
Correct.
You know,
yep.
Okay. And as they say, where's the beef? What's the letter about? Can you tell me?
Yeah, so there's, with the release of the restoration blueprint, I'm sure everybody listening is aware of it.
Yeah, give us a little background.
Yeah, I like to think of it this way: as everybody's New Year's resolution is, I mean, we can take a guess what that is.
Right.
Yeah, you want to do better, you want to lose weight or do better. So
get healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, there are people that say that and they don't want to actually go on and do anything.
Right.
You know, it's going to stay or get worse.
Right.
And some people might change their diet, get a little better, might exercise, and get better. So
the
restoration blueprint is an opportunity, you know, to make some changes in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary.
Okay.
And, you know, how those changes are made are going to, I think, dictate, you know,
huge impact.
The huge impact, not only on the visitors, the residents, but also the resources that we have here in the Florida Keys.
Now, I'm going to ask a very naive question, because I'm not a great boater, and I've probably drowned more fish than I've ever caught. But, you know, the bottom line is, do you need a license to drive a boat like you need a license to drive a car?
You do, depending on the year that you were born.
Okay.
So I believe it's 88.
Okay.
So if you were born before that, you're kind of grandfathered in.
You have to be a certain age.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And but now, yeah, you do need to go through a boater safety class, and that was something that was put forth, by the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, is trying to educate boaters,
Excellent.
which is a good start.
Good.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
I like that idea.
Yep.
You know. Okay. So in the letter, you guys are kind of laying out how things need to be done. I mean, you're sort of telling the government, okay, time to buck up, or what?
Yeah, well, there's some issues, you know, that I think everybody can agree upon from all industries: water quality, law enforcement, you know, education, these types of, you know, overusage of certain areas. Anybody that's out there can see that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's important that we get NOAA, National Oceanic Air Administration, on board to start addressing some of these issues. So yeah, we came together and put forth a letter and sent it off, and hopefully to get some momentum on this.
Okay. And any reaction whatsoever so far from NOAA on this, or not?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just released. It was just sent not too long ago.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, we just got a bunch of people on board.
Got to give them time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's that first love note that you know. see what kind of an impact it makes. You know.
Exactly.
What are, I mean, can you discuss any of the specific moves? I mean, some people are just plain pigs on the water. You know, they come out here and they dump all their trash and everything else. I mean, how do is there a way we can even make a dent in that? Or,
I think so. Yeah, I think so, Mark. I mean, the Florida Keys is, in my opinion, a national treasure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're very blessed to have this place here. And you can
Big
see,
time.
not only as residents and operators, but people visiting. And I think one of the biggest things is people just don't truly understand, you know, some of the things that they're doing. You know, I think people just think that the ocean is bottomless and they're
It's
okay
not.
to throw stuff over.
Maybe pretty deep in some places,
Right.
but
and there's a lot of special places like sanctuary preservation areas, Molasses Reef, Alligator Reef, Heads and these beautiful sites that are set, you know, to kind of protect that resource there. And, you know, a lot of people just don't understand that, you know, they're not supposed to fish in there. You know, they should not anchor if there's a mooring ball available. So I think one of the biggest first steps before anything gets done, I think, is just to educate on what's already in place and get people on board with that.
Would you see a benefit to perhaps a more stringent licensing arrangement than there is now with boat owners and whatnot? That I mean, you know, okay, you got to take a test, but you know, I mean, you know, you got to take a test to get a driver's license, which is a fairly
here's an idea.
You've been driving a long time, like I've been driving a long time, so it all becomes second nature. But, you know, I mean, I think that we should jack that up, you know, so that people don't learn not to run aground.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think education's a big part, but apps are easy to make these days, and everybody's got an app for everything. I mean, if from Minnesota, hunting's a big part of everything, and you can go on an app, and it'll tell you exactly if you're on public or public land, private land, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that having some sort of app where someone can pop it up on their phone and it'll tell them exactly where they're at. Okay, I'm in a sanctuary preservation. I can't fish, but I can snorkel here.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of getting some things in place, making it easy, you know, for people to learn these things.
Yeah.
The boater safety course, education course, I think was a good step forward. You know, I think a lot of people maybe when they're anchoring on coral, they may not actually understand what they're doing. So
I mean, in that, you know, if you've been in the water a couple of times, you realize. I mean, that's a mortal sin. You know, really, there should be a boat of hooligans that pull up next to you and, you know, just separate you from your boat and cut your boat adrift. And, sink it somewhere in about a mile of water, and you know, you don't get to come back. You know, so I mean, Harry lets me read the news when I'm in a good mood, and I get these guys who come from the state of Florida down here. And, you know, and catch shorts, you know, and, you know, berry-backed lobsters. And, you know, I mean, and there's literally nothing, sans the lionfish, that doesn't have a season or regulations to it. You know, the lionfish go crazy.
Oh, yeah. We shot the last Derby, Lionfish Derby. We shot 395 fish in a day and a half.
What a day that was.
Oh, it was a blast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you kind of think about some of the issues that we're facing, and we should try to do every little thing we can.
Sure.
But,
you know, I mean, go not look. I mean, if you got to, you know what, if you're living in Broward or Dade or Palm Beach or wherever in God's country up there, and you know, you want to come down to the Keys and take some fish, catch the lionfish. Leave everything else alone. You know, you can do whatever you want to a lionfish.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody will complain. And quite frankly, lionfish are pretty good eating.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, if you've had, which obviously you have now, you know, if you've had that little medallion of meat that's behind the head on a lionfish, boy, that is
phenomenal.
Oh my God!
And this is one of the things that the letter is actually addressing too, is some of the invasive species. And you know, I think the restoration blueprint addresses a lot of the things, you know, that's happening to our sanctuary. But the letter that we all signed on for is more addressing some issues that aren't really in there, like water quality, you know, law enforcement, working more with invasive species. FWC does have, you know, funding, you know, for operators going out to do that.
Right.
You know, there's been a lot of funding through the Clean Seas program for operators, you know, to get
operators. Is that you?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
an
yeah,
operator.
commercial operators. that are able to go out and dive and pick up marine debris,
right.
and they get compensated, for doing that.
Pick up the junk.
Yeah, so the debris still there.
Yeah.
A lot of it from Irma. So the letter is like, hey, let's keep this good work going.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what it is. It's not necessarily to support one thing or the other. I think
right.
the blueprint's got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Before it represents everybody in the industry down here, but the letter gets it started.
It's a coincidence. In that seat last week was Officer Doobie.
Bob Doobie from the FWC.
FWC. He was in that seat that you're sitting in right now.
Yep.
And we were discussing this very thing, and they are very concerned about it. He shook his head. He said it's happening out there right under our noses.
It is.
We're losing.
So frustrating.
We're losing our natural resource that is so responsible for the economy.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys, Captain Tony, do you ever catch hell about that name, Captain Tony?
Yeah, there's
hey,
a few
you've been
Captain
to my bar
Tonys
down
here.
in Key West, right?
Yeah. But fairly infamous characters. Yeah.
But this show, and thanks to Mark Mills here, has brought out, I think we're trying to bring what you're putting in the form of a letter and getting it to the general public, the voter.
Right.
That's the only time, I think. Don't you think, Mark?
Well, I have been to Myrtle Beach once.
Okay.
I will never go back.
Yeah, me too.
And
Same here.
Because of what has happened to it. And I mean, I don't want that to happen here.
No.
Yeah.
And I know I get, you're a liberal, you're and I mean, no, man, I'm a guy who stumbled into this place, not sober, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, on a whim, and
never left.
It never left.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't want to see it go down the toilet.
Yeah, this place is beautiful, and whether you fish or dive. And one of the things that for fishing is blessed is we have different fish coming year round.
Oh my God!
It's a phenomenal place to live and to be able to work and have people visit. And I think that there's always going to be delays. That we have. There's a delay in education where simply people didn't see it.
Yep.
They didn't believe it. Now that education's out there, we know it's changing, and now there's the response is like, how are we going to respond to it? And if NOAA and a lot of the larger agencies can, listen to us and, kind of see, because we're out there. We know it. Fishermen, divers.
Yeah, you guys are in the scene every day.
Yeah.
And
if you've been to any of the Sanctuary Advisory Council meetings or any of the public hearings, I mean, you can see all different sides of it.
Yep.
And I think all that needs to be put into place so, everybody can work together as a community and different industries to really come up with a good plan.
Yeah, pro fishing, pro diving, pro water. It doesn't matter what your game is. The bottom line is, years and years and years ago when I first got down here, I used to lecture to the kids like in 7th and 8th grade career day. I was a radio schmo, and I'll tell you, I always use the expression, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And this is the situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Most beautifully flourished is fleshed out big time. The more people know about the Florida Keys and how fragile this place is. It's environments like this.
It's framed by the TDC sometimes as more than it. I'm sorry.
More than meets the eye.
We are an independent media source.
Yeah.
If you get video or photos of something out there, if you'll send it to me or Mark,
we'll get it.
We're going to get it out to the people that are going to go, oh yeah. We're not getting the true story.
Yeah.
Until you guys write a letter, send us a picture. Am I right, Mark?
Absolutely.
Well, the truth is speaking from the folks from the Montessori school, and my fiance is a teacher at the public school.
PKS,
KLS.
KLS, sorry.
And the truth is, it's not all about us. It's about the kids and my kids and my grandkids someday, and we need to do everything we can to make sure that we're sustaining our industry, all industries down here, and leaving our kids with something that they can prosper and grow off to.
Agreed. Yeah. Why should they not get the same opportunity that we got?
Yeah, we should leave it better than we've had it.
Bottom line.
Absolutely.
So, Tony, how can what's the next step for somebody who wants to get involved?
Yeah. So as far as the restoration blueprint goes. There's been a lot of public hearings and Sanctuary Advisory Council meetings, and you can submit your comments. I believe that's now closed. Now they're reviewing all that stuff. But I would say just you can go on the NOAA's website, our Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary website, and click on the restoration blueprint. There's a place there that you can comment and leave anything. And I think what's important is that if people are seeing stuff out there, take notice of that.
Report
like you
it.
said, get it to the right people.
Absolutely.
And also be open to ideas.
Yeah.
So, the blueprint's got a long ways to go, but it's at least getting the conversation started.
Yeah.
So glad it's coming from your industry, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That has not been the case in the past. That's what's so unique about your letter. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the letter doesn't necessarily highlight any aspect of the blueprint specifically. It's more just some of the underlining things that, we all think need to change. And
this is the stuff that needs to happen.
Right,
Period.
exactly.
So, Tony Young.
Thank
Gracias,
you,
amigo.
Thank
you, Captain Tony.
Thank you guys so much. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're moving on. And, I want to throw one other thing in there. You know what, Harry's idea, if you see it and, send it to us.
Send it to us.
Definitely. I was driving down here this afternoon, and I was behind a dump truck.
Oh, no.
And, it was horrifying, man. There were times there was so much smoke coming out of that thing, and it turned off at a construction site up about 84, 85. But it was like I couldn't see. It's that much diesel going spit into the air. That's just wrong, man. It's just not right. We shouldn't be doing that. So, moving right along, we're going to talk to Monica Wall. And I'm telling
Monica
you.
Wall?
Monica
The
Wall.
Monica Wall?
The Monica
All
Wall.
right.
Going to be your Florida Bay Outfitters, a bunch of other stuff still to come. Stay with us. You are listening to The View on RadioA1A.com.
They paved paradise and put up a parking lot with a pink old...
You've been coming to the Keys for a while, and you rent a nice place, but the rents keep going up. You know it's time to consider buying a home in the Keys. First thing, find out how much home you can afford. Time to talk to Jim. Jim LaPointe is your new Keys local lender. Easy qualifying, lowest rates, FHA, VA, conventional. Time to talk to Jim. Log on to RadioA18.com. Click on interest rates. Rates change often, so check them daily. Time to talk to Jim.
Keys, folks, it's that time of year again. You are running every which way you can, and it seems like you just cannot keep up. That's right, it's season. Not that season. Tax season. Hi, this is Mark Mills. For the last 10 years, Marshall Walker and his team at H&R Block in Key Largo, the one over by the Publix, well, they have done my taxes through thick and thin. H&R Block has been there for me, and they have won my taxes. Let H&R Block in Key Largo, next to the Publix, get your taxes won. The end of tax season is nigh. Call now, 305-451-2562. Running every which way you can.
For a great holiday read, pick up the latest Jake Sullivan thriller, Gypsies in the Palace. Jake has recovered from his gunshot-inflicted coma and heads to Key West. A late-night assault at his office catapults him back into the game, hunting for a deadly toxin threatening the Keys. Not knowing who is friend or foe, he and Mike Lang are led to the Bahamas to find the truth. There he discovers a trusted friend is actually a malevolent enemy. Pick up Chip Bell's latest gripper, Gypsies in the Palace, at chipbellauthor.com.
I love Dr. Bob. He's
Isn't he great?
Good guy. Good set of pipes, too. Here's a guy who was a doctor for 50 years, saving lives, and he always wanted to be in radio.
He is the world's oldest and most educated radio intern.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's an amazing man, I'm telling you.
You know what? Somebody who's kind of amazing. Just sat down across from me, and I've known Monica for, 15 years?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe, something like that.
Wow.
And you have always got something going on with interns, with kids, with students, with stuff. Did that come from this woman next to me? Or?
Yes, she's definitely an influence. It's like the Oscars. Did you listen? Everybody thanked their mom. I want to thank my mother tonight.
She's beautiful.
Because she's very inspirational.
Yeah.
She's, I won't say her age, but she's does more than people way younger than her.
Half her
Before
age,
noon.
is there?
Before noon.
Good for you, man. How cool
Ursula,
is that?
put your mic up here, Mom.
Yeah, put your mic up real
You
close
can
to
do
your
that.
mouth.
All right, like this. And as we were saying, she kind of got us into
There you
radio.
go.
Beautiful.
She worked for radio.
You did?
I ran a classical radio show for the weekend section on a university station in Washington, D.C.
What a voice.
Now, in Washington, D.C.
That's where I'm from, born and raised.
How?
And I
Still
did
one of my favorite towns to
It's
visit.
a great place to grow up. People think it's like horrendous, but it's so awesome with all
that
the
Marion Barry
museums and
thing
culture.
kinda,
Well, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so, drove that truck into the wall, but I mean,
he did.
He was a very good mayor for the first two terms.
First two
He really
terms.
had something. to
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
he did a lot of things.
Yeah, then he drove the truck into the wall. So,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yes.
So, now what do you got going on?
Well, Florida Bay Outfitters didn't sell. So that was the plan around Thanksgiving. That fell through. So then we were like in the middle of
Were
season,
you guys
not
going
the
to
middle.
sell and leave
We've been
us?
trying for 10 years. Are you kidding me?
Quit it.
I know.
You're stuck here.
I know.
You're stuck here with the rest
so
of us.
going on 30 years.
There you go.
Excellent.
Not me, but Frank.
Yeah.
I married into the business. So
There you go.
we're just
But
into
still,
the season
one
now,
of the-
doing our usual thing.
One of the greatest places to pick up stuff. If you're
paddlers.
if you're
For
going
paddlers.
to paddle boards, kayaks,
The Hobies are really popular, the pedal kayaks.
If you get a kayak, you got to have wheels to carry. If you're just one person kayaking, I bought a set of those
the cart
cart
cart or
wheels
the
for a
wheels.
kayak. They're wonderful. I mean, it's just it made it more enjoyable.
Definitely. And people kind of look at the price tag and go, but they're worth it.
Oh my God. For $150,
Cheaper than the chiropractor, but
way cheaper than the chiropractor.
it's just awkward to carry a kayak even with someone else. So yeah, the wheels are good.
The wheels were wonderful.
Well, and the inflatable ones to me, it's, too many years of cigarettes, man. I can't blow one up, shall we say, firm enough for it to hold me in the water. So.
That's an air mattress, not a kayak.
Quit it.
They do make inflatables.
God, you have a dirty mind.
I do.
Jesus. So
They have
Florida
robots
Bay
for that
Outfitters are busy. Yeah, lots of good stuff
We're
going on.
pretty busy. We've
Yeah.
had some events. We've had some.
Do you guys still do your tours and whatnot?
Yeah, that's our bread and butter, the eco tours and then
Yeah.
the rentals.
Cool.
There's a lot of online sales now, so that's getting challenging to try to.
Retail is tough.
Yeah, it is. So thank goodness we have the rentals and the eco tours and the school groups. So we're hanging in there.
Well, that's cool. Good.
Yeah. We're really obsessed with the monarch butterflies right now. It's kind of sad. It's like, are we a paddle shop or are we like a monarch butterfly spot?
Monarch butterflies when I was a kid were like the most amazing
They're
thing.
so amazing. On our last couple Facebook posts have been about the monarchs. Our
Yeah.
staff, us, me, I go get. They eat the flowers
Yeah.
like down to the stem, so I have to run to the island home and get more milkweed for them. And they're like emerging in front of us. We have a video of so we're really into our monarchs at the moment. But
Very
yes,
cool.
let's talk about paddling. So
Yes, paddling is where it's at.
I guess the meat of the season is coming up at President's
you know,
Day to
season's
Easter,
here.
so it
Yeah.
is here, but it's
Yeah.
going to be hopefully even busier like next week for.
Yeah, in 30 years, okay, it
Frank's
does
really
it happen?
burnt out.
Does it happen to you this way that you're in December and it's kind of going along nice and easy, and and things are wrapping up, and you got the holidays done, and you're kind of in this breathing moment in January.
Yeah, there's that lull in January.
And then suddenly, boom, season's here. Can't get out onto the highway. Can't do any of that stuff. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but we know it, and we're ready for it, I guess.
Obviously not
we
impacted.
need it,
Yeah, we do.
So.
Got to make money. It's the way it works. So.
But we could talk about cleanups, too, because about a
yeah,
year
that's a
ago,
big
we
project
started
of
with
yours, isn't
NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association.
Yes.
Marlise Tumalo, she's great. She started to partner with us to do kayak cleanups.
Right.
Which we've done many of our own, but we're kind of burnt out, so it was great that she took that on, and we donate the kayaks.
You got to fan some flames in there, get it going again.
She's young and energetic, and she's got ideas, and so she does like community outreach, I believe. I
Right.
don't know exactly what her title is.
Right.
She just had a baby, but she's getting back in the swing of it, and we did several last year.
All right. So when you say kayak, you group of people, everybody rents a kayak.
Well, we donate the kayaks.
Oh,
so that's
cool.
what we do to support her, because
Wow.
we all care about all the trash in the water, so we got to
Has
stay
it
on
got-
top of it. It's
yeah.
never going to go away. So
It's getting worse, isn't it?
What do you
Sadly.
see out there? What are you seeing wash up? That is the worst.
mostly, probably the biggest things are plastic bottles.
Water bottles.
But the fishing, the trap line.
Yeah.
Miles of it. I'm not kidding you. It's like entangled in the mangroves, and it's just really.
That's commercial trap lines, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the hurricane, and they didn't bring in the traps, all of them, and so they just wash ashore.
Yeah.
And they get cut by boats going by, and then so lots of trap line. Just styrofoam. Just lots of shoes. Shoes, like just one shoe.
No good ones, not a pair.
No, not yet.
So who organizes the people to?
She does. So we used to do with our club. Our
It's the
club's
gal
kind
from
of
Noah. Yeah, okay.
And I'll give her email address. Because
please.
We're having one in March. She hasn't picked the date. It's either March 7th or the 21st.
Okay.
We bring the kayaks to the location. It's been Garden Cove a couple times. It's been Penny Camp. This one's going to be, I think, Silver Shores.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Do you mind if we email this show to her so she can hear you and also Captain Tony?
Yeah, I texted her right before this, so she might have tuned in. I don't know.
Good.
Hi, Marlise, if you did.
Yeah.
But that'll be great because she appreciates getting the word out.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, man. Let's fill up
So
a
we're
bunch of
doing
kayaks
that
and I mean, if you're a kayaker, this is a free day on the water. Essentially, get out there, paddle around, pick up some junk.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then another event that's coming up. We like other people to have events now that we can just like support.
It's easier, trust me, man.
I don't know how many years, but at least 5.
Too many years in radio for me to do that kind of stuff.
We used to have races. We used to do big events. We're winding down. But anyway, in March 6th is the Habitat for Humanity event.
We love that.
And for the past 5 years, we've donated a paddleboard and
Very
a paddle.
cool.
And
Thank you.
it's a package. It's not
Thank
just,
you. Kerry Cosme and Jack Nabolsky are both friends of this program.
Big time.
Yeah, so
yeah.
shout out to Jack. And Frank's always generous and donates a nice paddleboard. And,
well, it's cool, man.
Yeah. And it's a really nice event. They do a good job.
Yeah, they do. Well, a great cause, too. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
So, I think you can unhood now.
Yes, thank you. It's been like this all day. We went to the Islander and enjoyed the beach, and it'd be sunny, and then it'd be spraying.
It's quintessential Keys rain. You know, it comes in and it just kind of tinkles for a minute and then moves on.
I told my mother my mother rather had this favorite thing when there was just one cloud and it's a little bit of coming down. She called it a Roya. And my sister has a fit when she hears that word because she remembers our mother. It means it's just a quick kind of thing.
Well, that's true. A bad day in the Keys is better than
a
winter day
great
up north.
day anywhere else.
You also forgot to say something about the stuff that you pick up. So fishing lines that get tangled into the birds. And they are really bad for them. And cigarette butts on the edges.
You know, and being a reformed smoker, you know, I mean,
the earth is not your ashtray, though.
No,
right?
man,
you
it's
didn't throw your
not.
butts down, did you? I'm sure you did.
Oh
not.
God, no! Look, when I was a cigarette smoker, I was the worst pig. No, I was the worst pig in the world. I would driving through the. Oh God, you know, I'm really gonna get letters for this one. Driving through Topanga Canyon. Okay.
In California, I know what that is.
And you know, and if you've ever driven any of the canyon roads,
beautiful.
Oh, it's a blast, you know. And I drove an MR2 in those days, a supercharged one, so it was kind of quick and handled nice. I'm smoking along, flick that baby out the window and keep going.
That could start a forest fire.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I probably could have burned half of Malibu at one time. I don't, you know, I don't live there anymore, so you can't prove it was me, but. You know,
clean your act up out there, folks. On the roads or in the water, it's the same. The things are going to wash up, and they're going to be something for someone to clean up. How terrible to live like that.
And it's
we're trying here, but people need to evolve already.
Evolve is a good word for it too.
Biggest
Stop
pet
dragging
peeves,
your knuckles and let's you know,
the balloons.
Get a grip here.
Valentine's is coming up. Can we not let balloons go to express your love?
Doves.
Can we not?
Yes.
Doves can go poop and
or
it's all
butterflies,
washes away.
Butterflies
are good.
Would you have your mother say Radio A1A?
Radio A1A.
Perfect. I'm going to record that.
He's done.
You have a lovely voice, Mom.
Well, she's from Germany.
Well, one of the reasons is that most people, really, when they see a foreign name, it's very hard for Americans. Even our local, very good WETA station, some of the people who are on there when they get to Shostakovich or Rimsky-Korsakov, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
You think?
To say the least.
Is that why they hired you as a volunteer?
Yeah.
Well, that's when I did the Kennedy Center
Can you
notes.
do Radio A1A auf Deutsch?
Natürlich, Radio 1, A, auf Deutsch.
You didn't say one again.
Oh, you
Do it
wanna-
over. Do over.
Radio A1A.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Radio 1, A1.
No, it's A1A. You did 1A1. Take number 3.
Take 3, Radio
And
A1A.
she only had 1 glass of wine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, read it.
Radio A, 1A.
Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
Sehr gut.
Bitteschön. Very nice. On that note, folks, Monica, give the email address of how to get a hold of the gal who's going to send us
Marlies?
out into the waters and clean up the ocean, please.
And she's got more. So if you can't do the March one, she is doing every other as a kayak-based one.
Okay.
And the every other is land-based. It's marlies.tumalo@noaa.gov.
Okay.
And I guess I have to spell that.
Well, you could do that, or what you could do is just have them get a hold of you.
They could get a hold of me because what she's going to do is do a Facebook page of the
Perfect.
event, and
Beautiful.
she can't really post that because she's government. So we will post that,
and
we will share it.
or
Florida Bay
her
Outfitters?
friends. Yeah, Florida Bay Outfitters.
Okay, go to Facebook, Florida Bay Outfitters, and send Monica a message.
Yeah,
Hey, I want to go
that'll
pick
work.
up trash.
That'll work.
You know,
And we should all
definitely.
do it just when we're out on our own. We all go paddling, and if we see a balloon or some fishing line, we can cut it out of the mangroves.
And every time I came to see Monica, I was out there with the volunteers
Yeah.
picking up cigarettes.
Well, that was my state job.
Fishing lines.
Remember my state job with the Overseas
I
Heritage
do.
Trail? She was my first volunteer.
Woohoo!
We went on Long Key Bridge.
Hey
and
man, if you
picked
can't
up.
hook the family into it, forget about it.
Well, my stepson was the second volunteer.
It's awesome, folks. We thank you so much, Monica.
So nice to be here
It's
with
good
you
to see you
again,
again.
Mark.
Thank you for bringing
Listen,
Ursula along.
Ursula
You know,
was a good buddy. I'm missing my radio buddy, Debbie Illis.
got to bring him along, man. You
When
know,
she
next
comes
time,
down, maybe
next
we
time
can
she's in
have a
town,
reunion.
Bring
Okay.
him along. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up for another edition of
Let's
The
take a
View
picture.
from Paradise. Cool.
Yeah, photos.
Do a selfie.
Monica will take a picture when we're on our way out the door
Mom,
here.
can you lean in?
Everybody lean in.
There we go.
Oh, wait.
Selfie. All right. Folks, we're going to send it down the road. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next Monday from the Bayside Gourmet. Good night.
You took all the trees and put them in a tree museum and charged the people $1.50 to see them. No, 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 don't it always seem to go that you don't